I have no authority whatsoever to speak on music and music tastes, except for the fact that I have one, and I also have my own opinion. My little sister is actually incredibly musically inclined. I unfortunately did not get those same genes that my mom very clearly passed down to her. No, instead I simply have my own opinions and what I like to go off of, which is not always the most helpful because I cannot explain to you why I like the music I like or why I dislike the music I dislike. 90% of the times it is strictly vibes. Anyways, let's talk about TikTok music. And if you're sitting there going, ew, TikTok music's gross, TikTok music is always bad, there's never been good TikTok music. Like, you're entitled to that opinion, I guess. But then my secondary or like follow-up to that would be like, do you mean TikTok music or like music that is popular on TikTok? Because to me they are different and distinct. I kind of look at it in this way of, is the song the thing that's getting popular and like famous on TikTok, or is the artist the thing that's now like leaving TikTok and becoming like trending or interesting or fun? I think in 2020 there was a lot of like bedroom pop, a lot of like self-made songs going around that a lot of people liked because the pandemic had a lot going on and it kind of felt like very homey and nostalgic, and like it helped a lot of people in that time, and a lot of people fucking hated it because it was very slow, very kind of weird and experimental, quote unquote, without actually shaking up too much of the status quo. And again, these are all my personal opinions, and I don't listen to the radio anymore, so hear me out. That era of music to me felt maybe more like TikTok music rather than music that got popular on TikTok. With the exception of like Beach Bunny, nobody from this time period made it to my playlist, and it was simply that one song. You know, the one song about having an eating disorder. Alternatively, there was music that had like been around for a while that just happened to get popular on TikTok. Little Dark Age was one that migrated from TikTok onto my playlist, but this song was popular not because it started out on TikTok or like the creators started promoting it on TikTok, I'm pretty sure. It's just because that's a really good TikTok to like make 14 years old, and this is deep and thoughtful like TikToks too. Little Dark Age is still a song I listen to. I think it's a great song. That song in particular hasn't really inspired me to like go search out more music from the band. That's more of like a I'm kind of lazy thing between just like not wanting to like go find more music. I also have this weird fear of I'm not gonna like any other music from the same artist, so I purposely don't look out their other work because then I kind of feel like disappointed, which there's nothing from stopping me from listening to the song I do like, so I don't know why I do this. I don't know why I do a lot of the things I do. I think chronologically speaking, the next like big influence TikTok really had on my like playlists and adding people to my music would be Magnolia Park. Magnolia Park got big on TikTok for that 10 for 10 song. Great song. I still listen to that song. That's an amazing song. Then they made a song about how they're not just a TikTok band. No comment on that song. I will say, however, I fucking love Magnolia Park now. Like, it's not just the one song that got really, really popular on TikTok. I love most of their music, which is ironic because some of their music is like heavily anime inspired, and I fucking hate anime. But I love their songs. I love the vibe. I went to go see them in concert, which is so rare for me. The only other person I've ever seen in concert is Rick Springfield. There's a long story behind that one, but I went and I saw them in concert and it was fucking amazing. I loved them. I knew the words, like screaming the words of every single song they played. It was so great. I still listen to them. Whenever they drop a new single, I'm listening to it. Hellstar came out recently. Oh, love it. Now, from that same concert, they had an opener called TX2. TX2 is kind of controversial. A lot of people really fucking hate him, and I haven't done a lot of looking into him because some of his music is very, very, very off-putting, but some of it I do kind of like. It's a weird balance. He is extremely popular for kind of doing like rage baity things on TikTok, so it's kind of like his songs are very like lacking any subtlety. There's like, it's very forward, very direct, and like not always in a fun way. It can be really fun, and like there's no way anybody can misinterpret what you're saying, but sometimes it's like I'm getting beat over the head with what you're trying to say to me, and also like you're kind of preaching to the choir. There's a lot of like themes in his music of like fighting back against like anti-LGBTQ policies and stuff, which like yay, fun, like that's obviously a good thing to write songs about, I guess, but sometimes it's like so in your face and so direct about it. It's like, okay, I got it. I am also a gay, and yes, I do not want to be dead. Yeah, so that's like a weird one for me. And then there was Olivia Rodrigo. Rodrigo, who, again, probably not really TikTok music, right? Or like not music that is for TikTok. Like Olivia Rodrigo got popular by her own right, as well as TikTok being a really, really good jumping off point. I didn't like the song Driver's License, I know, sue me, and I fucking hate Taylor Swift. So a lot of Olivia Rodrigo's music kind of sounds very, very similar to Taylor Swift's music for me. So I actually don't like a lot of Olivia Rodrigo's music. It's just not my vibe. I'm not really that into pop music, which is going to be ironic here in a minute. But yeah, so I never really got into Olivia Rodrigo, but to me that feels less TikTok as people want it to seem to be, right? I think a lot of pop music people in particular are getting written off as like just for TikTok, and I just don't see that being the case really. I think a lot of like bedroom pop is truly the TikTok music, right? It's named after the fact that you can literally make it in your bedroom. So it's like easy access, just like TikTok is an easy access platform. Anybody can record anything and put it on there. That's kind of the point. They're usually not signed by big labels or like have a lot of music production going on. At least not at the beginning, they might later on. Cavetown. I fucking love Cavetown. Cavetown is TikTok music, or at least was at first. Very slow, dreamy, kind of weird and experimental at some parts. Probably wouldn't be played on the radio just because it's like some of it's fucking weird and they have like really long pauses in between of like just instrumentals. And also Cavetown's trans. So, but I love a lot of music by Cavetown, and that to me feels a lot like TikTok music that has then expanded and is now kind of making its own footing outside of TikTok. Then we have people like Chappell Roan. Chappell Roan's fucking amazing. She's been making music for a long time. When I first watched the Pink Pony Club music video, it was fucking 4 years after it had actually been released, and I just like, I'm always behind a little bit, so like I was kind of expecting me to be like a little bit left in the dust. And also, like I said, I'm not particularly into pop music, so it's not like I was seeking out this like up and coming pop artist. But now I fucking love Chappell Roan. I know every single song on Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. I know all the words, I know the order of the songs, and I don't think it's fair to say she's a TikTok artist. I think it's fair to say that TikTok was a great help in launching her career and like kind of fast pacing how popular she got. But who in their right mind would look at the amount of places she's like selling at stadiums and stuff? There are people just like in parking garages and on bridges just dying to see her. I don't know how anybody can look at Chappell Roan right now and just be like,
oh yeah, she's just like a TikTok singer, it's whatever.
And specifically about Chappell Roan, like a lot of people are talking about and learning like her whole story on how she wanted to be a singer, got signed, and the label dropped her, and like she has like a whole journey. She wasn't an overnight success. I mean, she kind of is now, but like it took a lot of hard work and like grit and like planning. She talks about how Red Wine Supernova took like years to write, which is insane. And to top it all off, she's like a lesbian, like openly, proudly. She's doing a lot of good work for the community involving drag queens, and almost all of her openers, if not all. I remember seeing an interview where she tries to have a drag queen open every performance. She specifically goes to Midwestern or like more rural states that she knows where it's hard to find representation, and where there's people like her growing up where she felt like out of place and kind of weird, as she's going to those places in particular to try and help people that had that feeling growing up like she did. And Chappell Roan has broken the barriers of TikTok by an infinite amount, but I don't think it's fair to say that she even like was a TikTok artist at one point. Just because somebody got immensely famous because of TikTok does not mean that they are like a TikTok singer or a TikTok pop star, or that their music is TikTok music. I think another fun example of this is PeachPRC. Less well known than Chappell Roan, like is still kind of in that TikTok bubble, but is still like performing live events. Has a label and like has writers that help her write the music. Also not straight. Then there's artists like Paloma who have one song that got really, really, really popular on TikTok, but she's like moved to my regular playlist with a lot of her other songs. Not just Labor, which was extremely popular. It was so popular that she was able to do a version that had voices of other people like submitting their voice. Nathan Apollo is also somebody I like a lot, but again, that's like more niche TikTok. And I think a lot of people just don't see people who get popular on TikTok as a viable option to actually make it big in the music industry as a whole, which I don't think is fair to say. I think the barrier of entry for TikTok being so low is helping people who should have been discovered a long time ago rising to success. Chappell Roan, obviously the best example of this. I'm not the only one who's like, what do you mean Pink Pony Club has been out for 4 years? You know, the amount of talent out there is not limited to what a label decides is pop music right now. The thing about Chappell Roan is it's very like referential to the 80s. There's a lot of like Hot to Go sounds like a cheerleader vibe. Like she literally got dropped by her label, and she said in interviews how people didn't really understand Pink Pony Club, but like Pink Pony Club means so much to people like right now currently. So obviously those people were wrong. And I've been hearing a lot that like the problem with a lot of pop music right now is it's less pop, more less common denominator, right? What's the easiest thing that we can get on the air that the most amount of people will like so that we can make the most amount of money, because that's what everything comes down to. And Chappell Roan is doing this fun thing where it's like, it is different. It's different enough for like somebody like me who really doesn't like pop music to fucking love every single one of her songs. And then we have like Magnolia Park, who is like punk and like metal fusion. They've got a lot of stuff going on in their music. Then you have people more like Cavetown, where it's more like experimental bedroom pop. That Irish band of kids went super popular on TikTok because they were fucking awesome. Everyone's acting like TikTok is the death of music when I just don't understand why. Just because you remember good things from older music, it's just because that's what you remember. That's survivor bias. You like all those songs from the 80s because those were the good ones. There was also a lot of bad music that came out at that time. And yes, there's a lot of bad or boring or like unrefined music on TikTok because somebody can record it in their bedroom and just upload it to TikTok. But it's still a good learning opportunity for them if this is something they really want. Or if it is actually genuinely good, they start to develop their following there. They start to learn how to like be what they want to be. I don't think it's fair to judge somebody's music just because it's popular on TikTok. I wasn't allowed to listen to music growing up. We've talked about this several times. So I remember one of my like first like real introductions to a lot of like older 80s classics was Guardians of the Galaxy the movie. And I remember somebody got so mad at me. They were like, oh, that music's only getting popular now because that movie came out. Nobody's like a true lover like I am. Like, what? It was like an older person. I was at work and I was listening to one of the songs. They're like, you can't appreciate that music like I did. It's so weird to me that like everyone wants to gatekeep everything so badly. I totally understand the idea of like back in my day this song meant more to me, or like meant more at the time. Cultural and historical context around when a song is released is like a big deal, but saying that there's no way I could possibly enjoy or understand the song just because it came out 20 years before I was born, that's not like, what? It's just this weird vibe of everyone's so judgmental for no reason. Just because somebody got popular on TikTok doesn't mean their music is automatically bad or boring or only pop. Pop is easy to make. Pop is also fun to make. But there's a lot of like really good like metal stuff and punk stuff going on right now. There's some like folkish music happening that's interesting. Not really my style, but it is interesting. And I think the problem is you get out of it what you put into it. If you're sitting there like dumping on every single TikTok musician you find, you're never gonna find something you like because you're already predispositioned to be like, nah, fuck that shit, it's on TikTok. Generally speaking, I don't like TikTok music, not because it's TikTok music, but because I generally don't like pop music. So yeah, I do kind of agree with some people that a lot of music on TikTok kind of is bad, but that's just because I have a personal opinion that a lot of pop music isn't to my taste. So I'm gonna see a pop song and be like, this music is bad to me. I don't know, I just really don't understand people that act like just because a song is on TikTok, it's automatically shit and they have to shit on it and the artist. It doesn't make any sense to me. And the reason I even thought about making this video at all is because of Kesha's new song that came out, Joyride. It's fucking exploding all over TikTok, or at least my TikTok. And it came after Katy Perry's new song was so bad. It flopped so hard. And the ironic part of that is it was also all over TikTok. But if you watch the TikToks of the two of them, you can tell which song is being appreciated more, which song is becoming a TikTok song, and which song is just popular on TikTok. The Katy Perry song is usually like jokey TikToks, people making fun of the song, people dissecting the song, people talking about people not enjoying the song. They're not enjoying it. Kesha's song, there are like 4 or 5 different dances that people are doing and teaching and showing. There's people talking about how much they love it. There's like, they're coming up with like a brand new name for this type of pop music called recession pop. There are still jokey videos. There's of course gonna be people who don't like this song. And I fucking love Joyride. And again, I don't typically like pop music. And like I said, I don't listen to the radio, so I don't know if Joyride or Katy Perry's weird song are playing on the radio. I have no clue. I've heard that Good Luck Babe is on the radio, but again, most of Chappell Roan's music is probably not on the radio, because that's how the radio works. The thing about TikTok is there is no filter. There's a lot of shit, a lot of really bad shit on TikTok. A lot of things that are just like not worth your time. Because there's no filter, very low barrier to entry. But that also means that the masses as a whole are curating what's going on. Instead of a label, a radio station telling you what the good music is, people are going out there and finding it for themselves, lifting up independent artists, making it easier for people to express themselves in that way. The way traditional media is being broken down on TikTok is something I really haven't seen before. I think YouTube was a good jumping off place, and I think TikTok's in that stage right now where kind of anyone can do it and accidentally go viral. And we see this with other types of media too, like news is getting shared very differently on TikTok than it is on traditional news sites. A lot of discussions are happening very differently on TikTok than they are in other places. I'm not saying it's good, I'm just saying it's different. And yes, TikTok is also the silly fun time app, or like the stupid app where people do their dances, or like they barely lip sync a song and look in the camera and smolder and get a bajillion views. Like those things are also true about TikTok, but I don't think it's fair to overlook this side of TikTok that is legitimately like creating pop culture in front of us. Chappell Roan is an instant classic. She's gonna go down in history. Chappell Roan is already doing absolutely amazing things, and it's gonna be insane watching what she does from here. Kesha celebrating her freedom with an absolutely instant hit. Yeah, these things are probably possible without TikTok, but come on. The way that TikTok is letting the public speak for themselves more genuinely is, I think, gonna have an absolutely lasting effect on so much more than just the music industry. And I'm so excited to see where we can go from here. If TikTok continues to exist, I guess, but you know. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my ramblings. This originally started out as I was gonna talk about my relationship to TikTok music and how much of that I listen to on a daily basis, and kind of my timeline of listening to TikTok music, but I kind of got off the rails there at the end. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed watching this video and sitting here with me as I kind of ranted for a little bit about music. Tell me your top favorite Chappell Roan song in the comments below. I'm not gonna judge you if it's Good Luck Babe or Hot to Go or Red Wine Supernova. There's nothing wrong with liking the most popular song. There's a reason it's the most popular. I didn't talk about iMonster. iMonster was the whole reason for me making this video. Anyway, I fucking love iMonster. I have their song stuck in my head all the fucking time. So weird and ethereal, feels like haunting but beautiful at the same time. Their top 3 songs, Who Is She, super popular on TikTok, Daydream in Blue, and then Lust for a Vampire. I stopped writing for a little bit because I was kind of writer's block dead. Those 3 songs, each independently, immediately no more writer's block. I want to write, I want to get down and start making things again. Anyways, that's what inspired me to make this whole video, besides the fact that Chappell Roan is fucking awesome. Yeah, comment your favorite Chappell Roan song, but also go listen to Magnolia Park if you haven't. Amazing. And iMonster, also really good. You will recognize Who Is She. Very popular on TikTok. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me in this video. I hope you all enjoyed spending this time with me, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.